Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. We'll get started in just a minute. Yeah, it's also Ticker Thursday, right? So if you have any specific stocks you want to look at, please let us know, and we'll go through those as well. So yeah, we'll get started in just 1 minute. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. All right, very good. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. And again, happy Thursday. Hope you're all doing well. Serge Berger here from the studytrader.com. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes going through the top things on our notepad. I've got the notepad ready to go. Also, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel and you give us a thumbs up like. It's very important, not only for you, so you're able to receive our updates in real time, but also, of course, so that we can continue doing this morning show. So thank you all for being here. Well, top things in our mind. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through a few tickers. We're going to specifically look at some of the private equity stocks like Blackstone and KKR. Then I want to actually start off looking at the banks. There's a setup here that might be in the making in Bank of America. And then we are going to look at Novo Nordisk as well. And we're also going to spend a little bit of time on maybe a few tickers that you guys have. So if you have some tickers you want to look at, please type them into the chat box here on YouTube, and we'll be going through it. So let's start off and go through this. Well, we're looking at a market here that seems to be waiting for news. When I speak to my contacts on the street and on the buy side, then what I hear is that everyone's kind of waiting to see if we get some sort of a ceasefire agreement out of the Russia-Ukraine war. We have yet to receive that, but the markets are the U.S. equity markets, I should be very specific, are exhibiting a little bit of resilience, and I think there's a very good way of visualizing this when we look at the S&P 500. This is very, very simple, just the price action, but you can see that over the past couple of trading days, we've seen a couple of long tails. So there are buyers interested here, or at least sellers getting near-term exhausted. And so we think, as I said at the beginning of the week, that while we haven't yet had the price confirmation, that we are getting closer to some sort of a potential oversold bounce. And so that's really what I'm watching for. Now, there's one specific stock that is giving us a very, very clear defined level, or levels actually, to watch. And while there's maybe others like that as well, of course, I'm going to go through and show you here Bank of America. The ticker symbol, of course, is BAC. And what's interesting about this stock is that obviously very much like the broader market, price equity market, which has been finding some support, we are starting to see a little bit of a very defined, not a little bit, a very defined trading range developing. If you look at the past 3 trading days, I'm gonna zoom in a bit more so you guys can see this. These are the past 3 trading days. And so I think a push and hold above, let's say, $40.70 or so could trigger and squeeze the stock quite a bit higher. I would suspect it could easily rally, 5-6%. On the other hand, if we have a break below, let's say $39 and change, 39.20, 39.10 within that vicinity, and it holds, then we could easily see a further flush. So this is a very nice setup here as far as the levels go, and hopefully this is something that you guys can monitor as well. So that's one thing. That's Bank of America, a setup here for you to look at. Then I want to look at Novo Nordisk, and this is the ticker symbol is NVO. Remember, this is an American depository receipt at ADR, meaning the main ticker trades elsewhere, but of course the ADR has a lot of liquidity. So this is a stock I'm watching very closely because we're starting to see some fundamentals that are actually quite in disagreement with the stock sell-off. There's nothing to do right here, right now, but I would see any sort of strong bullish reversal as an opportunity to maybe put on some bull put spreads. And so that's what I'm watching. I mean, if you look at NVO on our market rover, which of course is our trend following algorithm tool, if you will, it remains in a bearish trend. That's definitely not changed. In fact, you can see how well it took us out of that position. You can see how it went into a bullish trend back in December 22. Then ultimately that trend changed while people on TV still told you to buy and hold the stock or buy more or do something, whatever. We very clearly were told that the trend was ending. It was in a neutral zone. So the bullish trend ended very clearly around $123. Since then, the stock is down 40%. Right. But I think now we have a different situation, and we're now in a bearish trend, of course, but we're maybe getting exhausted. So I'm watching this. Again, nothing actionable yet, but it's something I'm watching. Hopefully this is helpful for you. So that's 2 things already here right now for you to have a look at today. And then we have to look at something much bigger that could ultimately be a sign of something gnarlier. And that's the situation taking place in the private equity and private credit markets kind of things. So this is Blackstone. This is ticker symbol BX. We could look at KKR as well, but let's just stay with one of them here. Again, you can see very nicely how the market rover is guiding us here with trading buy signals along the way, and the trend that finally now broke at around $150 to the downside. Why is this important? Well, let me show you, give you a little bit of perspective. There is an extraordinary amount of capital that is tied up in private markets, so private debt and private equity. And the further we go into that kind of a market, it's in many ways it's a marketing exercise. As someone who's worked on Wall Street, I can tell you how no one ultimately sees the end of that, of course, and the private equity sponsors, whether it's KKR or Blackstone or Apollo or Ares, are never going to tell you that it's over. But of course, the stocks are saying something different right now. So I think this might be a different story that is actually trying to tell us that the free money sort of episodes are over. And remember, a lot of these things are not liquid. So when liquidity dries up, it's going to be very difficult to get out of these things because this is not like a stock. You can't sell your private equity or your private debt or your private credit fund because it's tied up. So when you look at these stocks, you can see they're down anywhere from 20 to 25% year to date. Some of them are a little bit lower, I guess like between 10 and 20%, 25% year to date. Year to date, right? That's year to date. That's not over a 1 year period. That's a very sharp drop, I should say. So I'm just want to give you some warning there again on the market rover. We have Blackstone breaking its bullish trend for the first time since taking a pause in October 2023 for a few days, and then it went right back to bullish. Same thing for KKR. You can see very clearly got us in a bullish trend around $60. That went up as much as 185% and around 123%, so 100% higher. We now, about a week ago or so, received a very clear signal that the trend has broken. It's not a bearish trend yet, but it's a neutral trend, which means, listen, the bullish trend is broken. Let's wait and see what happens. Maybe it goes back up again. I'm a bit more skeptical at this point. I think we live in a private equity bubble. But I just want to, put it out there as fair warning. So that's 3 things I'm giving you here already to look at. Then let's have a look at the near term, just so you guys can see how this trade worked out. So if you're using the TST trend or momentum indicator, and I really hope you do, here is how the most recent trade worked out. Okay, you can see we received a momentum sell signal on the 7th of February, and since then the stock is now down about 23%. That's KKR, and the same thing in Blackstone. So if you're looking for trades, momentum, use the TST trender. It's an absolute beauty. You can receive access to that indicator when you get an email support@thesteadytrader.com. And you can also, of course, call us if you would like about that as well. So that's, I think, the 4th or 5th thing. And then I want to look at Apple quickly, and then we'll look at a couple of stocks that you guys are wanting to look at. So here's Apple. Apple, remember, it's a company that's not growing. It's not a bad company. It's a good company. It's a crowded stock still. From a purely technical perspective, it is important to note that we're now at a pretty critical level. I actually think we could see an oversold bounce, and ultimately we would want to be selling into that oversold bounce. I think the stock could go plenty lower. It's now broken its 200-day moving average as a reference point, but again, we've got quite a bit of price history around the $215 area. So I'll be watching these levels here for a bounce. Again, this could be sharp. It's Apple, right? So, 6, 7, 8, 9% is entirely doable to break, to move to a lower high. And then we would probably be looking to put on bear call spreads at that point in that particular name. Okay. Now, let's look at a few tickers that you guys were asking for. And again, if you have other tickers you want us to look at, please let us know. EQT Corporation, I have no clue what that is. It is currently still in a bullish trend. I can tell you that on the market rover. So EQT is still in a bullish trend, GB. And I think that's about all there is. It's kind of in no man's land, to be honest with you, in many ways. It's in a bullish trend. That's the green background color. I don't know. I'm not sure. UDMY. Let's see what this is. Okay, UDMY, we actually don't have the market rover, so let me just bring it over here and see what you're talking about there. Udemy. Okay. Gosh. I don't like these kind of stocks. They're way too gappy. So personally, I don't even know what to make of this. It's not a stock I would ever touch. It's way too jumpy and unpredictable, so I probably wouldn't look at this one. Home Depot, this is for Nicholas. Look, Home Depot looks very much like, I think, you're very welcome. I think Apple could look this way. Look, watch this. I'm going to quickly overlay this with Apple so you guys can kind of see, or at least let me add Apple to the chart so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'll add it as a separate pane down here. Here is what that looks like. So we've got Apple at the bottom here. Make it a candle chart as well. So we're here, candles. Okay. All right. So in many ways, Apple looks like Home Depot. Again, I think it could near-term bounce. I think Home Depot could near-term bounce. But ultimately, I would imagine that that Home Depot that Apple starts breaking below this. So it's kind of like, do you see that, Nicholas? Right. So I would imagine, Home Depot could rally back up to resistance and maybe then, kind of go lower again. And for Apple, it might be something where it bounces here and then ultimately goes lower. Now, of course, that's you know, Von de Balls says UDMI of this world will kill your trading account. Oh, I fully agree. Yeah, something like Udemy, I just don't know. You know, it's a dangerous stock, that kind of a thing. I personally wouldn't be involved in something like that. Doesn't really make sense to me. But that's just me, right? But let's have a quick look at what these two stocks, Home Depot and Apple, look like on the market rover, and that's really important, right? So when we look at the market rover on Home Depot, this is our trend algorithm. You can see very clearly that it's also now neutral trend. It's no longer in a bullish trend, and that's important because it gives me a lot of confidence knowing that now I don't have to chase the stock. I might get it from buy it for a bounce, an oversold bounce if I have to, but really there's nothing going on here that's very interesting. And then for Apple, same thing here too. It's actually now in a neutral trend. You can see it's no longer in that green bullish trend that it's been in for some time. It's now in a neutral trend. So these are two things that these two stocks are certainly in more jeopardy now than they were a while ago, before, when they were still in bullish trends. So are there any other tickers you guys want to take a look at? And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here for the week, actually. And we'll see you guys back here on Monday. Again, if you have another ticker or so you want to ask, I'm happy to look another one. But we'll also be over in the Trade Ops chat rooms. I think there's going to be some nice trades today. I think, again, we're probably waiting for a headline to see if there's an agreement to the ceasefire, Ukraine, Russia. I don't know. We'll find out. But I think that's something that we're waiting for now. So hopefully that's helpful, folks. Benito wants to look at ANET. Let's have a quick look at ANET here and see if there's something that we can make sense of. And then ANET. We'll look at the one up here. Well, ANET's a one-way street, so I'm not really sure. You know, what I can tell you for ANET for sure is, let me bring it over here. So if you have the trender, which again, I can only hope you have it, you would have received a beautiful sell signal on the 12th of February. That's right there. So Benito, have a look at that. The stock since then is down 27%. ANET on the market rover is most likely now in neutral or bearish trend as well. Let me bring that over. Yeah, ANET too has broken its bullish trend, its long-term bullish trend. So as you can see, it's no longer in a green background. It's neutral now. So can you guys see the importance of like measuring these trends, right? And then having the near-term stuff as well. Like, it's so crucial. I know a lot of people don't really care yet because they haven't lost enough money yet. But I can only encourage you, if you truly want to be a trader and investor, like, you have to have a multi-time frame approach and look at things in multiple time frames. There's not a single investor in trade that I know that doesn't do that. That's professional. Let's have a look at AMGN. That, of course, is a what's it called? Biotech stock. It's kind of nowhere in the long-term trend, so not much going on there. I think, if I'm correct, there was a near-term momentum buy signal a while ago. Yeah, so near-term, there was a very nice momentum buy signal. Let me see. A few weeks ago. Yeah, actually in January. And that one is about to get stopped out for the remainder of the profits. So that's this buy signal here. This is the Vertical X Pro. It told us the stock is near-term overbought, and sure enough, the stock then ended up correcting 6%. But the momentum buy signal is trailing this purple line, and you guys can see that it's just now at the point where if it breaks below this purple line, it's going to stop out for the rest of the gains. So far, this stock is still up at about 14% of gains on that signal. Intel, we'll have to see how it acts today. I don't really know. I think that's a bit too early to look at Van den Bals, so I'm not quite sure what to make of it. We have to see how it acts today, but we still have a momentum sell signal. Now, of course, with today's news, who knows? We'll have to really wait and see. But I think, um, I think Intel is one that we need to watch very closely here over the coming weeks and months, because with the change in the CEO that we just heard yesterday, this could be something that may turn into a story that's more pre-market. The stock's trading around $23. So, I would wait and see how the stock needs to establish itself a little bit. I don't think there's much going on here in a name like this. It's also maybe a lesson here, to keep in mind that, a stock like this is very newsy right now. So just because it's newsy doesn't mean we have to be involved. It might be more of a patience game in a stock like this right now. So anyway, listen, folks, I hope this is helpful. Again, keep a very close eye on these private equity stocks. A lot of people are still very, very bullish private equity. I actually think it's potentially a bubble. And, the trender gave us one hell of a sell signal there, and all those momentum in on all those private equity stocks. And the longer term trends are now actually neutral, no longer bullish. So that's where we're at, folks. Thanks for being here. Please, 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 very important, subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up, like. We'll see you back here Monday morning. And all of you guys that are members, we'll see you over in the trade ops rooms, where we're going to go and look at trades.